6th July of 1957. John was seen as lower class by Paul McCartney's family. His father felt John Lennon would drag Paul into trouble. John Lennon wrote his first song in 1963, which became a UK top 10 hit. John's first song 1973, John separated from Yoko and went to Los Angeles, California, where he partied and took a mistress. He was still active in the music business and collaborated with David Bowie and Elton John. In 1974, Lennon got back together with Yoko and had a child, Sean. John Lennon decided to leave the music business behind and focus on being a father and a husband. In 1980, on the Day of Reckoning, John Lennon was shot several times in front of his apartment complex in New York City by a lunatic obsessed with the superstar. Lennon died on December 8, 1980, aged 40 years. To this day, people from around the world mourn the untimely death of this legendary artist, songwriter, and musician. Millions of fans around the world, including new generation of fans, are deeply saddened by the tragic end to a